Hello, third graders. Today we're going to be starting our lesson 4 of our module 7 unit, which is getting into geometry. So the very first thing we're going to be talking about for our geometry unit are quadrilaterals. Have any of you guys heard quadrilaterals before? If you haven't, now you do. Let's take a look. So when you see the word quadrilateral, go ahead and focus on the first 4 letters. It says quad. Whenever you see quad, you're gonna think of the number 4. You're gonna think of 4. And then when you keep on going, you see the word lateral. Lateral means, I'm gonna write that, lateral means lines. So quadrilaterals are shapes, any kind of shape that has 4 lines or sides. Okay, so the very first quadrilateral that we're going to be talking about for this lesson are parallelograms. So the very first quadrilateral we're going to be learning about are parallelograms. So first we have to know what parallel means. So parallel means 2 lines, look at me, 2 lines that go the same exact direction, but they never cross. So let's see what parallel lines we have in our parallelogram. First, let's see which 2 lines are going the exact same direction. We have this one and this one. If they were to continue, they would still never cross because they're going the exact same direction. There's never going to be a time where they're going to cross each other. So that's one pair of parallel lines. Is there another pair of parallel lines? Let's see. I see one. We have this and this. If these were to keep on continuing, they would never cross each other as well because they're going the exact same direction. All right, so those are what parallelograms are. They are 2 sets of parallel lines, which means they are going the same exact direction and will never cross each other. So let's do some review. All right, so I have this quadrilateral here. It has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're gonna see if it's a parallelogram or not. So remember, parallelograms have to have 2 sets of parallel lines. So I see one set of parallel lines. I see one right here and right here. They're going the exact same direction. They will never cross. And, let's see. These are not going the same direction. If I were to keep this line going, they will cross. So this, my friends, is not a parallelogram. So our next quadrilateral is called a rhombus. So a rhombus looks very similar to a parallelogram. As you can see, we have our 2 sets of parallel lines. We have these right here. They will never cross because they're going the same direction. And then we have our second pair of lines this way, and they will never cross. So as you can see, it's similar to a parallelogram, but rhombi, as a plural for rhombus, they have to have all equal lengths, okay? They can't be different lengths like the parallelogram. They all have to be the exact same. So that is the difference between a rhombus and a parallelogram. While parallelograms, the set of lines can be different lengths from one another, the rhombi, each of the sets have to have the same length. So before we learn about rectangles, let's do a quick review. So as you guys learned in 2nd grade, the place where 2 lines come together, that's called an angle. So it's important to know that with rectangles, they have 4 right angles. They make little squares in each corner. That's what a right angle is called. So when there's little squares in each corner, you can think of a right angle, like a goalpost, 90 degrees. Okay, so a rectangle has 2 sets of parallel sides. Let's make our lines. 1, 2, and then our second set 1, 2. So it has 2 sets of parallel lines, but rectangles also have the 4 right angles, and the sets of parallel lines have the same length. And finally, we have our square. So our square, again, we have our 4 right angles. Squares will always have 4 right angles. And they have their 2 sets of parallel sides. Perfect. So the difference between a square and a rectangle, while the rectangle, the sets can have different lengths, the square have to all be different, and have to all be the same length. Kind of similar to a rhombus. So a square is a rhombus. So remember this shape, and I asked you if it's a parallelogram or not, and we said that it's not. This shape is called a trapezoid, and a trapezoid only has 1 pair of parallel lines, which is why it's not a parallelogram. All right, class, so we have learned about our 5 different quadrilaterals. So now we're gonna start looking at some examples and classifying them and seeing what kind of quadrilateral these certain shapes are. So we're gonna start with shape B. So we know it's a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see, does it have any parallel lines? I see 1 set of parallel lines right here and down here. And then there's 1 more set of parallel lines right here. Okay, so remember, 2 sets of parallel lines. And what about the angles? What kind of angles? I see 4 right angles. So what quadrilateral is this, class? It is a rectangle. So now we have our shape L. Yes, so it's a quadrilateral. It has 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does it have parallel sides? Here's 1 set right here. And we have 1 set going this way. And are the sets the same length? They sure are. They are not like directly on top of each other, but they still are the same exact length, each set. So this is a what class? A parallelogram. And remember, one way to remember about what parallel lines are, think about the 2 L's in parallelogram. They are straight up and down, going the same direction. And if I were to drop them down, they will never cross. So that's one way to remember parallelogram or parallel lines. So now we have shape A. So is it a quadrilateral? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 4 different sides. Does it have any parallel lines? Are there any lines that are going the exact same direction? Let's see, if I were to go here and here, they aren't going the same way. Oh, they're gonna cross, So no, they do not have any parallel lines in this quadrilateral. So class, this is just a quadrilateral because there are no parallel lines. So when there's no parallel lines, your shape is just a quadrilateral. All right, we have our shape I here. So quadrilateral, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. It sure is. What about parallel sides? Let's see. We have 1 going this way. Excuse my unstraight line. You get the point. And then we have another set going this way. So yes, we have 2 sets of parallel lines. Are they the same length? Are all 4 sides the same length? Looks like it to me. They're all the same length. So class, if we have 2 sets of parallel lines and all 4 sides are the same length, think about it. What shape is that going to be? It is a rhombus. It would be a square if there were 4 right angles as well. But since there's no 4 right angles, it is a rhombus. We're getting there. We have shape C now. Let's see if it's a quadrilateral, class. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides. What about parallel lines? I have these. 1 set. 2 sets. All right, are they all the same length? Is each of the 4 sides the same length? Yes, they are. They are all the same length. And do we have right angles in this quadrilateral? Do we have right angles? Remember, 90 degrees. They create squares, and they do. So friends, if we have 4 right angles, 2 sets of parallel sides, and a quadrilateral, that is going to be a square. All right, we have reached our final shape. First, like always, we're gonna see if it's a quadrilateral. So we're gonna count 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. Now let's check for parallel lines. I see a set right here. So 1 set. I'm not sure about these lines, but I'm always gonna check and see. Let's see. So we're going. Oh, they cross. So remember, 1 set of parallel lines. Think about it. What shape is that gonna be? A quadrilateral with only 1 set. It is a trapezoid. Good job, class. All right, we have reached the end of our Module 7, Lesson 4. All about quadrilaterals. We learned about squares, rectangles, trapezoids, parallelograms, and rhombi, or a rhombus. So I have made this chart for you that I'm gonna post onto Teams. Just a little cheat sheet, something that you can study. Talks about everything that we learned today, all the different shapes and its characteristics. So be sure you study this and get ready for your upcoming activities, and be sure to check for Teams for your upcoming assignments. All right, great job today, class. And remember, never hesitate to ask me any questions that you have about anything that we learned today. I am here for you. All right, bye guys.